the drawing board and reflect on the approach going forward. How exactly is it that we can critique? What can we say and what can we not say? And the overall ruling of the court was that the statements are in the public interest. The public is entitled to receive the statements and formulate an opinion, which is something that we've been amplifying throughout the proceedings. So we've won in that sense, won in the sense of the dismissal of the application, but also won in the sense of guidance going forward, especially for what is to follow in this term of a new era or a new government. There's certainly a lot of enlightenment that the public is entitled to, and Lona as the fourth estate are entitled to lead the charge without worrying about, is this going to be defamatory? Am I going to have to pay damages for this? I know there's several more to come. We're ready to deal with that, but I can assure you we're also introspecting to try and ensure that we put information in the public interest, in the public domain, without unnecessarily violating rights that people have to a good name, to their dignity, or to their privacy. That is something that we stand to be guided on, and we've been guided by the court. But overall, we're delighted for the win. We're very pleased.
This was just the dismissal of the rule on aside and the contempt. Are you guys going to proceed to the trial court?
Well, they haven't instituted any claim for trial. They haven't issued any summons for defamation or any other claim. So this is it. This is the end of it. If they want to bring forth other proceedings, then, like I said last time, we'll be waiting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uncle.
Thanks a lot.
So
Sure.
cases, maybe you'd like to touch on?
Well, I'll be very confined to comment on the other cases. What I can say is we've been able to take instructions. We're in the process of filing the necessary court process in response, or the letters that answer to that, the demand letters that have been put forward. I can't say much because they're at a very nascent stage. And in issues such as defamation, where you go by way of action or summons, it might be the next 5 years ongoing. So there's a lot more to it at this stage. I mean, there's not enough for me to really comment on. Safe to say, with the guidance of the judgment that we got today, we already know what it is that we can say and the veracity of such statements and how harmful they can be to other people. So preliminarily looking at the claims that have been made, I think one is for like 7 million, the other for 500,000, some for 3 million. It's just very ridiculous, not in this jurisdiction. So we're also not worried at all. But of course, look, an attorney's job is not to encourage fighting and unnecessary discourse. It's just to bring parties as close to each other as they can be. So in the process of defending our client, we're not just going to throw away the process of settlement, because at the end of the day, the main objective for everyone who's here is to ensure that the resources of the country are preserved. Where anyone accused of corruption feels or opines that they are not guilty of such corruption, they can always come out and clarify, not to gag someone making an opinion on such issues. Yeah.
Yesterday, the trade ministry touched on this issue. Maybe you talked about that, or you like to say something about it.
Yeah. Look, it's also a very controversial issue, in the sense that I'm very pleased at the trade minister's remarks. That's my personal view, because as you may have followed, we've had protests in the past, a lot of protests against gender-based violence, protests against unemployment, underemployment, but we've barely ever seen an instance where a forensic audit is sanctioned, especially within such limited time. So that is something that we can applaud and say, look, we are now seeing some form of a reaction, because what the trade minister is simply saying is, let us investigate, get our facts right, and then take action. I haven't really formed a view as to what should happen to the office bearers in the meantime, and I would rather not express such an opinion at the moment, but I would really like us all to afford the trade minister and the government at large the opportunity to address all our concerns. It's really very soon. It's too soon for us to be judging them to the extent or we discredit or discount their efforts. There is some plausible effort that we can see in trying to deal with issues like this and to address them, which is not quite common. So if we see it, we need to embrace it and afford them the necessary time and space to deal with the issues. the pedantism and the nitty-gritties of how it is done, yeah, we can have discourse on that. But at the end of the